I have never seen a bigger case of tampering than this A.J. Brown situation. Dallas still stinks. Yo, but the way kick dig back here, so we are less than a week away from the draft, and I am ready to go. Let's get this thing onward, because the Eagles, they've got to add to this roster. They've got to add offensive linemen, they need another safety, and they got to figure out what they're going to do at edge rusher, not to mention that a tight end in the future would be nice. Now, I got to say this to start off. I have never seen a bigger case for investigating tampering than what we've seen with the A.J. Brown situation. And I know you're sick of talking about it. I'm sick of talking about it. But it's got to be said. Somebody needs to investigate this crap, because I have never seen a trade that wasn't even in existence be put into existence by the media and a fan base, and then it continued to grow over the course of a year and a half to now where it seems like it's going to happen, okay? I do not want to trade A.J. Brown because I don't think it makes the Eagles better, but they may do it. And now we're finding out that the Eagles, they're going to operate as if A.J. Brown's gone. And to me, if you truly do that, you are playing with fire. The Pound Eagles will operate in the NFL draft as if A.J. Brown won't be on the roster in 2026 per Jeff Darlington. When you're going into the draft with a player that you're waiting until after June 1st to potentially trade, you have to operate with that within that mindset. And I don't mind that they're doing that. Like, I don't mind that they're going to have that mindset as long as they stay true to their board. Because if you're really truly doing that and then you're trying to get need, you're going to allow this A.J. Brown situation to creep into the draft and maybe blow up your first round pick. Because if you're desperate and you try to take a wide receiver, you're going to have issues. Let me tell you right now, the Eagles could say that they're comfortable with what they have at wide receiver if A.J. leaves. I don't believe it. I believe they need somebody else. So to me, that means in the first 3 picks, they're taking a receiver. And they may do it in the first round. Now, I'll say this. The guy I like in this draft, receiver talent-wise, it's actually Jordan Tyson. And he held a workout today. Jordan Schultz, my man, wrote this. Over 20 NFL teams, including multiple GMs, are at Jordan Tyson's personal workout today, including the Giants, Titans, Commanders, Eagles, Dolphins, Cardinals, Bills, Panthers, Browns, Cowboys, Lions, Packers, Raiders, Chargers, and among other things. What? I don't know. And what we're hearing from it is, and this workout is, Jordan Tyson update. Teams are comfortable with his injury history. Now he starts the conversation in the draft from anywhere from pick 5, and he'll be off the board no later than 16. I don't believe that. I believe he'll go right around 25, 24, 23, but we'll see. To me, I think he's the most talented. I think he's the most impressive receiver in the draft. If this was a normal situation and his injury was good, I have no problem drafting him whatsoever. But I worry about the injuries, and for that, I wouldn't risk it in the first round. Not when you need first-round offensive linemen like my man Vega. All right? Now, before we get into it further, I do want to talk about something I do like to do. I want to talk about Prize Picks. Let me first start off by saying thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring this video. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app. The app is really easy to use. Just pick more or less on a few players and you could build the ultimate lineup. It is legal in states like California. All right, so let's see what we got today. We are going to go NFL upcoming season, and let's go rushing touchdowns. I love this. I love Saquon Barkley over 7.5 rushing touchdowns. And when we look at all these other options, man, there are some really good ones out there. A-Chain 5.5. Brock Purdy 2.5. He could possibly do that, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to go with any of these. I'll tell you. Let's see here. Let's figure this out. Let's go back up here and let's check out. I gotta tell you, Ashton Jeanty 5.5. I love that, and that's gonna be our play. So let's go Saquon Barkley and Ashton Jeanty for our lineup. So head over to Prize Picks and use code HMA, and when you do, they'll hook you up. Play $5, get $50 instantly. That's right, $50 instantly. Just use promo code HMA. Shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring this video. And so, once again, in my opinion, it feels like this whole draft process, this whole offseason has been hijacked with this A.J. Brown stuff. And the Eagles, they've got to play it smart. They've got to go in this draft, say, hey, look, yeah, we might have a whole receiver. We may be getting rid of him, but we're not going to just take a receiver to take a receiver. We're going to take the best player available, okay? And then they need to operate as such. Now, there are 3 things I want the Eagles to do in this draft. All right, here are my top 3, and this is final. And I'm going to try to do a mock draft. I usually do one before the draft, a couple days beforehand. So I'll be doing that. But here are my top 3 moves that I do if I'm the Eagles, okay? These are the top 3 things I want them to do, I think they should do, and it is no guarantee, of course, they're going to do it. This is just my personal opinion. And really, I don't know. I have no idea what they're going to do. But here's what I would do. My first option in this draft at number 1 would be to try to move up, hopefully to a reasonable spot, and draft Vega, the offensive guard from Penn State. I believe he's plug and play right away. I believe you set yourself up for the next 8 to 10 years at the right guard spot. Can he play on the outside eventually? Some people say he can't. I don't know. But I think I see him more as a guard, an interior offensive lineman that can play both sides. And I think that would really help you, especially immediately and down the road, because you don't know what the future of Landon Dickerson is. Dickerson going to play 2 more years, then call it quits? So Vega, to me, would be a top priority, and I think he would change and help transform this offensive line immediately as well in the future. My second move, if Vega is off the board, and this player gets within, I'd say, to 19, somewhere around there. Being that every team is trying to trade back, and being that the value is going to be trading up because it's going to be a lot cheaper than in past years, I would look to trade up, and maybe even as far as 15, 16, depending upon the value. I would look to trade up for Kenyon Sadiq. That would be my move. I know some people are high on him. I get it, but I still think that he's just immensely talented, and what you could do with him, especially this year with 2 tight end sets, and then in the future taking over for Goddard, I would risk it, and I would take a chance on him. Now, if both those guys are gone, my third move that I do would be I would trade out of the first round at 23. If both those guys are off the board and somebody like Caleb Downs doesn't fall, I would trade out. I would call teams up and I would say, here's what I want. I don't want your second round pick, especially teams in the 30s, like, any team from like 33 to 45, so around there, like any of those teams, they like to keep that pick. Let them keep the pick. Give me your third round pick, and then give me your first round pick next year. I believe the value of this draft is in those mid-round picks. So if I could get another third and a first next year where you have multiple first-round picks in a heavy, talented top end of the draft, I would do it. Next year is supposed to be top-heavy. This year, I think the value is in the mid-rounds. So if I could pick up another mid-round pick, get a first-round pick in next year's draft, That's what I would do. Those would be my top 3 choices of how I would go about the draft. And if all 3 of those things are off the board, then you got to figure something out. But I think one of those things would hopefully be able to work. My first choice is go aggressively after Vega. Number 2 is to try to move up if Vega's off the board and get Sadiq. And then my third option is get out of the first round altogether, pick up an extra mid-round pick, maybe 2 in this year's draft, and secure yourself with another first-round pick next year. Now, remember, if you get a first-round pick next year in the draft, and then you do move A.J. Brown to New England, and you get a first-round pick out of that, you're now going into the 2027 draft, a very talented, heavy, top-heavy, and what I mean by that is there's supposed to be a lot of talent up in the first round, in the second round. If you get 3 first-round picks going into that draft, you're in good position. That's what I would do. That's what I think the Eagles should do. And yeah, we're going to see now if they actually do it. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision, baby. We're all just living in it. Oh, I almost forgot this. Almost forgot to talk about this. I did. But did you see this? Texans 2-time Pro Bowl defensive end Will Anderson has finalized a 3-year, $150 million extension that makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history per multiple sources. He plays edge, and Jalen Carter doesn't. So I think a defensive tackle is going to be cheaper, but Jalen Carter, he's got to get paid next, man. He's up. I still think the Eagles should give him an extension now instead of waiting, because I think waiting is only going to go ahead and cost you more money down the road. Now, one thing the Eagles could do is they could wait till the OTAs and see how he comes in, how he looks. Looks like if he's put the work in, then take a chance at that point. But yeah, my man, Will Anderson got paid, and it's time for Jalen Carter. Denzel Washington out. That's all, folks.
The brother screwed us.